What about your part, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, just don't make me repeat things, just say yes and we can move on. I can't see you because I'm putting up on YouTube and all that. Okay, right. So there we go. Okay, now we are on YouTube now. Okay, so yes, Parthavu, let's give the floor to you. Would you like to give your realizations and the points for the nectar of instruction, verse number one? Thank you very much. Would you like to share the screen? Haribol, can you hear me? Parthavu, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, would you like to share the screen?
Uh, I
Because you're
haven't
pushing
prepared
the.
anything in written or that like that, Prabhu. Which can be shared digitally.
No, that's right. No need to share what you have prepared, but if you want to share what is on the screen, the words or
Okay,
something,
the verse.
with the translation.
Okay. So, Prabhu, should we start with the preface then?
Yeah, yeah. Please, please. You must start with the brief of it, and then um, we'll give you the opportunity for the preface introduction, and then we'll see how it goes with the verse also, the text number one.
Uh,
Okay.
sure.
As I said, we've got enough time for. There's no need to rush in any way. Just take your time. Okay. Just take it easy. Take deep breath and do it. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, the permissions to share.
Um, preface. You want to read the preface, or you just want to say the preface? Up to you.
Okay, okay. I'll then read the preface. There was a few points I prepared on the preface, so I'll just read it.
Okay. I can make you give the screen share option also. No problem. But use the Prabhupada IO or Prabhupada books. These two, if it is possible. Okay. But we are okay with anything, but we prefer these two for now. Okay, please, it's your floor is yours. Hare Krishna.
So Prabhu, when I try to click on share, I'm getting a few options like photo, image from file, document, web URL, bookmark, camera, and whiteboard.
So you want the web URL? I can give the web
Okay.
URL.
Okay. So I have it. I'll just I try to copy and paste it there.
This is how we operate now. It's very tough. Okay, here we go. I think I've sent you the URL.
Prabhu, is it visible? What
Yeah,
I've
it's
shared?
visible. Yes, it's visible. Visible. Just make it
Okay.
a bit bigger, please.
Okay.
It's vertical, it's not horizontal. Yeah.
I'm trying to zoom in, but it's not zooming in. So,
Can you make it some kind of horizontal or
okay, I'll try. Um,
yeah,
is
there
it
you go.
better now, Prabhu?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. The NOI preface. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Um, the Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas or Bengali Vaishnavas are mostly followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of whom the six Goswamis of Vrindavan are direct disciples. Therefore, Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung Rupa Raghunath Pade Haibe Akuti Kabe Hama Bhuja Bese Yugal Piriti. When I'm eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society the benediction of the signs of Krishna. The most exalted of all the activities of Lord Krishna are his pastimes of conjugal love with the gopis. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, the best of the gopis. Therefore, to understand the mission of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of the six Goswamis, Sri Rupa, Sanatan, Bhatta, Sri Rupa, Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva, Gopala Bhatt, and Dasa Raghunath. So, um, in the preface, just a couple of points that I've prepared for the first paragraph, basically. In the preface, it is said that this Krishna consciousness movement that we all are a part of in Hare Krishna WECAN, in the guidance of Srila Prabhupada and under the special mood of Mahavishnu Goswami, this movement, Prabhupada writes, is being conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami, right? Uh, this is the first principle, and that is why I think in the classes there were mentions of us being Rupanugas, that we are the followers of Rupa Goswami, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So, just one more line. So, since it is explicit, Prabhupada are explicitly writing Gaudiya Vaishnavas or Bengali Vaishnavas, right? That means that there are other kinds of Vaishnavas, details of which are there. But for this current context, we can understand that we are a specific sect of Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, right? And Gaudiya Vaishnavas are followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And and the six disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are basically given in the next line, because this Vaishnava tradition happens to sorry for that, this Vaishnava tradition happens to be in disciplic succession, right? So, sh- as we read about Rupa Goswami, so you all might be wondering that then who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So this Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Rup Goswami basically, so this Gaudiya Vaishnavas are follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Rup Goswami, who we all are followers of, Rupanugas, he was a disciple, one of the six disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? And the other six disciples, as mentioned, is Sri Rupa, Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva, Gopala Bhatt, and Dasa Raghunath. So these were the six disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Followers of whom are called Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and then consequently followers of Rup Goswami are called Rupanugas, right? Correct. Then it is given there now. If we all are wondering that, uh, tell us more about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? We got to know about Sri Rupa Goswami. So here it is given that um, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society the benediction of the signs of Krishna. So, um, this entire devotional movement that we are following, the science behind it, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to reveal to human society this science of Krishna. And why we are calling it science, we'll get to know in further readings. Why we are exactly calling it the science of Krishna. And we might be able to relate it to the commonly heard term science that we use around us. And then it is written that the most in even in the science of Krishna, the most exalted of all the activities of Lord, sorry, not in the science of Krishna, the most exalted of all the activities of Lord Krishna, if one is trying to understand the science of Krishna, then the most exalted of all the activities of Lord Krishna are his pastimes of conjugal love with the gopis, right? So that is the highest, most exalted level, that his pastimes of conjugal love with the gopis. Now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, the best of the gopis. If we are having doubts about all these things, what is being written here, it will get clear as we go on. For now, we can just understand what is written here, just verbatim.
Yeah, Prabhuji, just for preface and introduction, just read it just like that. You just need
Just like
that.
that, no,
Yeah,
no need
when
to, Prabhu.
we look at the words, the text, you can give your points of realization. Yeah,
Okay, okay, connecting the preface. Okay,
yeah,
bro. Therefore, to understand the mission of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of the six Goswamis, Sri Rupa Sanatan Bhatt, Raghunath, Sri Jiva, Gopal Bhatt, and Das Raghunath. Sri Rupa Goswami was the leader of all the Goswamis, and to guide our activity, he gave us the Updeshamrit, the nectar of instruction to follow. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left behind him the eight verses known as Shikstashtaka. Rupa Goswami gave us Updeshamrit so that we may become pure Vaishnavas. In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattva Gun, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. A follower of the Krishna consciousness movement should become a perfect Goswami. Vaishnavas are generally known as Goswamis. In Vrindavan, this is the title by which the director of each temple is known. One who wants to become a perfect devotee of Krishna must become a Goswami. Go means the senses, and Swami means the master. Unless one controls his senses and mind, one cannot become a Goswami. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instructions known as Updeshamrita, which have been given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami has given many other books, such as Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Vigada Madhava, and Lalita Madhava. But Updeshamrita constitutes the first instructions for neophyte devotees. One should follow these instructions very strictly. Then it will be easier to make one's life successful. Hare Krishna. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, September 20, 1975, Vishwarupa Mahotsav, Krishna Balarama Mandir, Raman Reti, Vrindavan, India. So now we move to verse 1. Prabhu, should I sing it three times or just one time?
Just sing slowly, sing it nicely once or twice. No harm in doing it.
Okay. Vacho Vegam मनसः क्रोधवेगम् जिह्वा वेगम् उदरोपस्थवेगम् एतान् वेगान् युविषहेत धीरः सर्वाम् अपि मां पृथ्वीं सशिष्यात् वाचो वेगम् मनसः क्रोधवेगम् जिह्वा वेगम् उदरोपस्थवेगम् एतान् वेगान् यो विषहेत धीरः सर्वाम् अपि मां पृथ्वीं सशिष्यात्. Vachah of speech, Vegam urge, Manasah of the mind, Krodha of anger, Vegam urge, Jiva of the tongue, Vegam urge, Udarupastha of the belly and the genitals, Vegam urge, Etan these, Vegan urges, Yaha whoever, Vishahet can tolerate, Dhiraha sober, Sarvam all, Api certainly, Emam this, Prithvim world, Saha that personality, Shishat can make disciple. Of speech, urge of the mind, of speech, urge of the mind, of anger, urge of the tongue, urge of the belly and genitals, urge, these urges, whoever can tolerate, sober, all, certainly, this world, that personality can make disciples. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals, is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Purport. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, Shloka 9 to 10. Parikshit Maharaj placed a number of intelligent questions before Shukadeva Goswami. One of these questions was, why do people undergo atonement if they cannot control their senses? For instance, a thief may know perfectly well that he may be arrested for his stealing, and yet he may actually even see a thief arrested by the police, yet he continues to steal. Experience is gathered by hearing and seeing. One who is less intelligent gathers experience by seeing, and one who is more intelligent gathers experience by hearing. When an intelligent person hears from the law books and shastras or scriptures that stealing is not good, and hears that a thief is punished when arrested, he refrains from theft. A less intelligent person may first have to be arrested and punished for stealing to learn to stop stealing. However, a rascal, a foolish man, may have the experience of both hearing and seeing and may even be punished, but still he continues to steal. Even if such a person atones and is punished by the government, he will again commit theft as soon as he comes out of jail. If punishment in jail is considered atonement, what is the benefit of such atonement? Thus, Parikshit Maharaj inquired, दृष्टा श्रुत्याभ्यं यत् पापम् जानन्नप्यात्मनो हितं करोति भूय विश्वस्याः प्रायश्चित्तम् अथो कथं क्वचिन्निर्वर्तते भद्रात् क्वचिच्चरति तत्पुनः प्रायश्चित्तम् पार्थ अतोपार्थम् मन्ये कुञ्जर शौचवत्. So, in the first paragraph, some interesting points are being referenced and explained.
Prabhuji,
Reference from
sorry,
the yeah.
sorry. What I'm thinking is that because we require Prabhupada's purports, to be studied
Yeah.
also. So you will get the privilege of reading through the whole purport first. Yeah.
Okay.
Let it take time, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then you give your points presentation.
Okay, Prabhu.
Is that
That
okay?
makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So that way, Prabhupada is very important that our Acharya purport is mentioned. We understand his mood, and then based upon it, we give our realizations. Yeah.
Sure.
So that's etiquette we should follow nicely. Okay. Wonderful. All the best. Please continue.
He compared atonement to an elephant's bathing. The elephant may take a very nice bath in the river, but as soon as it comes onto the bank, it throws dirt all over its body. What then is the value of its bathing? Similarly, many spiritual practitioners chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and at the same time commit many forbidden things, thinking that their chanting will counteract their offenses. Of the 10 types of offenses one can commit while chanting the holy name of the Lord, this offense is called Namno Balad Yasya Hi Papa Buddhi. Committing sinful activities on the strength of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Similarly, certain Christians go to church to confess their sins, thinking that confessing their sins before a priest and performing some penance will relieve them from the results of their weekly sins. As soon as Saturday is over and Sunday comes, they again begin their sinful activities, expecting to be forgiven the next Saturday. This kind of prayashchit or atonement is condemned by Parikshit Maharaj, the most intelligent king of his time. Shukadeva Goswami, equally intelligent, as befitting the spiritual master of Maharaj Parikshit, answered the king and confirmed that his statement concerning atonement was correct. A sinful activity cannot be counteracted by a pious activity. Thus, real prayashchita, atonement, is the awakening of a dormant Krishna consciousness. Real atonement involves coming to real knowledge, and for this, there is a standard process. When one follows a regulated hygienic process, he does not fall sick. A human being is meant to be trained according to certain principles to revive his original knowledge. Such a meth- methodical life is described as tapasya. One can be gradually elevated to the standard of real knowledge or Krishna consciousness by practicing austerity and celibacy, brahmacharya. By controlling the mind, by controlling the senses, by giving up one's possessions in charity, by being avowedly truthful, by keeping clean, and by practicing yoga asanas. However, if one is fortunate enough to get the association of a pure devotee, he can easily surpass all the practices for controlling the mind by the mystic yoga process simply by following the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness. Refraining from illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling, and by engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master. This easy process is being recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami. First, one must control his speaking power. Every one of us has the power of speech. As soon as we get an opportunity, we begin to speak. If we do not speak about Krishna consciousness, we speak about all sorts of nonsense. A toad in a field speaks about croaking. And similarly, everyone who has a tongue wants to speak, even if all he has to say is nonsense. The croaking of the toad, however, simply invites the snake. Please come here and eat me. Nevertheless, although it is inviting death, the toad goes on croaking. The talking of materialistic men and impersonalist, Mayavadi philosophers may be compared to the croaking of frogs. They are always speaking nonsense and thus inviting death to catch them. Controlling speech, however, does not mean self imposed silence, the external process of mourn, as Mayavadi philosophers think. Silence may appear helpful for some time, but ultimately it proves a failure. The meaning of controlled speech conveyed by Srila Rupa Goswami advocates the positive process of Krishna Katha, engaging the speaking process in glorifying the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. The tongue can thus glorify the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. The preacher of Krishna Katha is always beyond the clutches of death. This is the significance of controlling the urge to speak. The restlessness or fickleness of the mind, manovega, is controlled when one can fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. The Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22.31 says, कृष्ण सूर्य समा माया है अंधकार यहाँ कृष्ण तहाँ नहीं मायरा अधिकार. Krishna is just like the sun, and Maya is just like darkness. If the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. Similarly, if Krishna is present in the mind, there is no possibility of the minds being agitated by Maya's influence. The yogic process of negating all material thoughts will not help. To try to create a vacuum in the mind is artificial. The vacuum will not remain. However, if one always thinks of Krishna and how to serve Krishna best, one's mind will naturally be controlled. Similarly, anger can be controlled. We cannot stop anger altogether, but if we simply become angry with those who blaspheme the Lord or the devotees of the Lord, we control our anger in Krishna consciousness. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became angry with the miscreant brothers Jagai and Madhai, who blasphemed and struck Nityananda Prabhu. In his Shikshashtaka, Lord Chaitanya wrote, Srinadapi Sunichena, Taror api Sahishnuna. One should be humbler than the grass and more tolerant than the tree. One may then ask why the Lord exhibited this his anger. The point is that one should be ready to tolerate all insults to one's own self. But when Krishna or his devotee is blasphemed, a genuine devotee becomes angry and acts like fire against the offenders. Krodh, anger, cannot be stopped, but it can be applied rightly. It was in anger that Hanuman set fire to Lanka, but he is worshipped as the greatest devotee of Lord Ramachandra. This means that he utilizes anger in the right way. Arjuna serves as another example. He was not willing to fight, but Krishna incited his anger. You must fight. To fight without anger is not possible. Anger is controlled, however, when utilized in the service of the Lord. As for the urges of the tongue, we all experience that the tongue wants to eat palatable dishes. Generally, we should not allow the tongue to eat according to its choice, but should control the tongue by supplying prasad. The devotee's attitude is that he will eat only when Krishna gives him prasad. That is the way to control the urge of the tongue. One should take prasad at scheduled times and should not eat in restaurants or sweetmeat shops simply to satisfy the whims of the tongue or belly. If we stick to the principle of taking only prasad, the urges of the belly and tongue can be controlled. In a similar manner, the urges of the genitals, the sex impulse, can be controlled when not used unnecessarily. Sorry. Genitals should be used to beget a Krishna conscious child. Otherwise, they should not be used. The Krishna consciousness movement encourages marriage not for the satisfaction of the genitals, but for the begetting of Krishna conscious children. As soon as the children are a little grown up, they are sent to our Gurukula schools, where they are trained to become fully Krishna conscious devotees. Many such Krishna conscious children are required, and one who is capable of bringing forth Krishna conscious offspring is allowed to utilize his genitals. When one is fully practiced in the methods of Krishna conscious control, he can become qualified to become a bona fide spiritual master. In his Anuvritti explanation of Updeshamrita, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes that our material identification creates three kinds of urges: the urge to speak, the urge or demands of the mind, and the demands of the body. When a living entity falls victim to these three types of urges, his life becomes inauspicious. One who practices resisting these demands or urges is called tapasvi, or one who practices austerities. By such tapasya, one can overcome victimization by the material energy, the external potency of the Supreme Personality of God. When we refer to the urge to speak, we refer to the useless talking, such as that of the impersonal Mayavadi philosophers or of persons engaged in fruitive activities, typically called karma kanda, or of materialistic people who simply want to enjoy life without restrictions. All such talks or literatures are practical exhibitions of the urge to speak. Many people are talking nonsensically and writing volumes of useless book, and all this is the result of the urge to speak. To counteract this tendency, we have to divert our talking to the subject of Krishna. This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. नायद् वाचश्चित्रपदं हरेर्यशो जगत्पवित्रां प्रगृणीत प्रगृह्णीत कर्हिचित् तद्वा तद्वायसं तीर्थम् उष्णन्ति मानसा न यत्र हंसा निरमन्ति उषिकश् उषिकस्याः. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, fifth chapter, 10th slok. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Since the all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकम् अभ अबद्धवती अपि नामानि अनन्तस्य यशोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Shloka 11. On the other hand, that literature, which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed towards bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men. Sorry, uh, by purified men who are thoroughly honest. Honest. The conclusion is that only when we talk about the devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead can we refrain from useless, nonsensical talk. We should always endeavor to use our speaking power solely for the purpose of realizing Krishna consciousness. As for the agitations of the flickering mind, they are divided into two divisions. The first is called avirodha priti or unrestricted attachment, and the other is called virodha yukta krodha, anger arising from frustration. Adherence to the philosophy of Mayavadis, belief in the fruitive results of Karmavadis, and belief in plans based on materialistic desires are called avirodha priti. Jnanis, karmis, and materialistic plan makers generally attract the attention of conditioned souls. But when the materialists cannot fulfill their plans and when their devices are frustrated, they become angry. Frustration of material desires produces anger. Similarly, the demands of the body can be divided into three categories: the demands of the tongue, the belly, and the genitals. One may observe that these three senses are physically situated in a straight line as far as the body is concerned, and that the bodily demands begin with the tongue. If one can restrain the demands of the tongue by limiting its activities to the eating of prasad, the urges of the belly and genitals can automatically be controlled. In this connection, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Sharira avidya jal, jadendriya hata he kal, jive fele vishaya sagare, tar madhye, jivva ati, lobmaya sudur mati, ताके जिता कठिन न संसारे कृष्ण बड़ा दयामय करी बारे जीवा जय सौ प्रसाद अन्न दिला भाई से अन्नामृत खाओ राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ प्रेमे डाक चैतन्य निताई. O Lord, this material body is a lump of ignorance, and the senses are a network of paths leading to death. Death. Somehow or other, we have fallen into the ocean of material sense enjoyment. And of all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and uncontrollable. It is very difficult to conquer the tongue in this world. But you, dear Krishna, are very kind to us. You have sent this nice prasad to help us conquer the tongue. Therefore, let us take this prasad to our full satisfaction and glorify your lordships, Sri Radha and Krishna, and in love call for the help of Lord Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda. There are six kinds of rasas, tastes, and if one is agitated by any one of them, he becomes controlled by the urges of the tongue. Some persons are attracted to the eating of meat, fish, crabs, eggs, and other things produced by semina and blood, and eaten in the form of dead bodies. Others are attracted by eating vegetables, creepers, spinach, or milk products, but all for the satisfaction of the tongue's demands. Such eating for sense gratification, including the use of extra quantities of spices like chili and tamarind, is to be given up by Krishna conscious persons. The use of pan, haritaki, betel nuts, various spices used in pan making, tobacco, LSD, marijuana, opium, liquor, coffee, and tea is indulged in to fulfill illicit demands. If we can practice accepting only remnants of food offered to Krishna, it is possible to get free from Maya's victimization. Vegetables, grains, fruits, milk products, and water are proper foods to offer to the Lord, as Lord Krishna himself prescribes. However, if one accepts prasad only because of its palatable taste and thus eats too much, he also falls prey to trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us to avoid very palatable dishes even while eating prasad. If we offer palatable dishes to the deity with the intention of eating such nice food, we are involved in trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. If we accept the invitation of a rich man with the idea of receiving palatable food, we are also trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is stated, जिह्वार लाल से यही इति उति धाय शिष्णोदर parayana Krishna nahi पाए. That person who runs here and there seeking to gratify his palate and who is always attached to the desires of his stomach and genitals is unable to attain Krishna. As stated before, the tongue, belly, and genitals are all situated in a straight line and they fall in the same category. Lord Chaitanya has said, Bhala na khaibe, ar bhala na paribe. Do not dress luxuriously and do not eat delicious foodstuffs. Chaitanya Charitamrit Antya, chapter 6, shloka 236. Those who suffer from diseases of the stomach must be unable to control the urges of the belly. At least according to this analysis, when we desire to eat, when we desire to eat, uh, when we desire to eat more than necessary, we automatically create many inconveniences in life. However, if we observe fasting days like Ekadashi and Janmashtami, we can restrain the demands of the belly. As far as the urges of the genitals are concerned, there are two proper and improper, or legal and illicit, or legal and illicit sex. When a man is properly mature, he can marry according to the rules and regulations of the Shastras and use his genitals for begetting nice children. That is legal and religious. Otherwise, he may adopt many artificial means to satisfy the demands of the genitals and he may not use any restraint. When one indulges in illicit sex life, as defined by the Shastras, either by thinking, planning, talking about, or actually having sexual intercourse, or by satisfying the genitals by artificial means, he's caught in the clutches of Maya. These instructions apply not only to householders but also to Tyagis or those who are in the renounced order of life. In his book, Prema Vibharta, chapter 7, Shri Jagadananda Pandit says, वैरागी भाई ग्रा अ, वैरागी भाई ग्राम्य कथा ना सुनिबे काने ग्राम्य वार्ता ना कहिबे यबे मिलिबे आने स्वप्ने ओनाकार भाई स्त्री संभाषण ग्रहे स्त्री चाड़िया भाई आसियाचा वाना यदि चाह प्रणय राखिते गौरांगे रसने छोटा हरिदासेर कथा थाके ये न मने भाल न खाइबे आरा भाल न परिबे हृदयते राधा कृष्ण सर्वदा सेविबे. My dear brother, you are in the renounced order of life and should not listen to talk about ordinary should not listen to talk about ordinary worldly things. Nor should you talk about worldly things when you meet with others. Do not think of women even in dreams. You have accepted the renounced order of life with a vow that forbids you to associate with women. If you wish to associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you must always remember the incident of Chota Haridas and how he was rejected by the Lord. Do not eat luxurious dishes or dress in fine garments, but always remain humble and serve their Lordship Sri Radha Krishna in your hearts of heart. The conclusion is that one who can control these six items speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals is to be called a Swami or Goswami. Swami means master. and Goswami means master of the go or senses. When one accepts the renounced order of life, he automatically assumes the title of Swami. This does not mean that he is the master of his family, community, or society. He must be the master of his senses. Unless one is master of his senses, he should not be called Goswami, but Godas, servant of the senses. Following in the footsteps of the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, all Swamis and Goswamis should fully engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As opposed to this, the Godasa engage in the service of the senses or in the service of the material world. They have no other engagement. Prahlad Maharaj has further described the Godas as Adanta, which refers to one whose senses are not controlled. An Adanta Go cannot become a servant of Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, verse number 30, Prahlad Maharaj has said, Matir na Krishna parata, ma- Matir na Krishna paratas, Matir na Krishna paratah swato va, Mito abhipadyate
Mate na
griha.
Krishna. What it is this? Mate na Krishna. Paratah satsvato va. Mitho abhipadyeta gruha vratanam. Okay, this is the
Okay, thank you.
Vachovegam.
Matir
And
na
this is Vachovegam.
Peaceful. Matir na Krishna paratah swato va, मिथो अभिपद्यते गृहव्रतानां व्रतानां व्रतानाम् अदान्तगोभिर्विशतां तमिश्रम् पुनः पुनश्चर्वितचर्वनानम्. For those who have decided to continue their existence in this material world for the gratification of their senses, there is no chance of becoming Krishna conscious, not by personal endeavor, by instruction from others, or by joint conferences. They are dragged by the unbridled senses into the darkest region of ignorance, and thus they madly engage in what is called chewing the chewed. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes. You can please stop the screen share and give your realizations. Thank you.
Oh,
If you want longer period, no problem. We can take it next week also. No problem. And we spill over to
oh,
next week anyways. Yeah. You just stop the screen share now. Thank you.
okay, Prabhu.
Thank you very much. Yes, please.
Yes, just a second, Prabhu. I'm just opening. So, Prabhu, it won't be possible to cover the entire thing in 9 minutes, I think.
No, no, what do you want to do? Do you want to start next week? You can have next week. No problem. These are big purport, and this is one of the most important shlokas in the whole of Krishna consciousness.
Yes, Prabhu.
So
Prabhu,
we
it
don't
would
mind.
be
We can do next week. No problem. You can have your time, enough time, so you can speak in a flow also. No problem.
because since we have covered the purport in a go, and there are so many important, like there's an entire list of points that I've prepared. So it would be better to have it next week, Prabhu. That's what I was thinking. Or if you want, I can go over some highlights in a fast way, but that then it would be just running over things.
No, no problem. That's okay. No problem. No problem. Okay.
Okay.
So we can have it next week. What do you think, tutors, teachers, Sanjay Prabhu, Sita Prabhu, what do you think?
Hare Krishna, bro.
Your voice is you're muted, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji, I think we have only few minutes left, so we're not able to finish, any point and properly. I think we need actually maybe another full session or maybe one more than that to cover this verse.
Yes, so there will be some points which I would also like to speak,
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, so time is a actually constraint here, Prabhuji. I think
yeah,
yeah.
that's fine. You okay with this, Sanjeev Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, it is a very important and it's a big verse. So it's many points needs to be discussed. So yeah, we need more time. Yes.
We'll have it next week then. Hare Krishna. So next week we'll continue. We'll have everybody, we'll pick up at least with, we'll start with Parthavu to give his points, presentation, and then we'll invite others to give as well. And then we'll have the teachers can interject a question, as they go in, ask a question or to clarify, whichever way. Okay. All right. So thank you very much, dear devotees. I think we can stop here now. Krishnas, would you like to stop the live screen, please? Thank you very much.